Hi Stampers, this is Karen Phillip. I'm a Stampin' Up Demonstrator and I'm pleased to show you how to make this card. And today's technique is plaid gold leafing. So that's this part in the gold, you can see the gold shimmer. And then this plaid we're just embossing. And here is the card sample. So let's get started. We will need quite a few stamp sets for this card. The first one, just because I have it on top, is the Trucking Along, and that's for the truck. This is an online exclusive. The next stamp is the Ringed with Nature. I don't think I use this stamp itself, but I did use the dies and the embossing folder. This is a hybrid, and this is also called Tree Rings dies, and it has the embossing folder in it. And then I use the Layering Leaves stamp set. I use one of these leaves with the punch that coordinates with it, and that is unfortunately on back order right now. Let's see, here it is. But it's an older punch, so you might even have it in your supplies. And then finally, we are using the sketched plaid, and that is how we're going to get our plaid. So we'll start with that. And you don't necessarily need to have a block for these background stamps. So we're going to take our smaller piece of boho blue. It's 1 3/4 by 4 1/4, and we will use our embossing buddy and wipe that off. And then we will take our white. This time we're using white. You could use Versamark, but it seems to be brighter when you use the white. So we're using our white and kind of giving it a little twist because it's the older pads, and the white tends to not go on quite as well. So there we have that. Now we're going to put this right in between these two, it's hard to show, these white spaces. So you want these two white spaces, and the center of this little piece will be this strip down here. You could do either side, but that way you'll get the look that I'm kind of going for. So you just set it down, take a piece of scrap paper, and rub it over it so you get a good image. Some people use blocks, some people do different things, but we're just doing this right now. Okay, then we will emboss this, set that aside, and that you can just use a baby wipe to clean it off. Okay, try to make this quick. Alright, so you can see that we have, I have to close that, don't want that dumping. You can see that we have these white edges and then just the center part. Okay, now we'll emboss that. I have a piece of chipboard or just regular cardboard covered with foil, and that makes it easier so you don't burn yourself. When embossing with white, you don't want to over emboss because then it will get it'll melt it sort of. Get this a bit quick now. And you won't get a clear image then. And I'm not going like this, you just want to follow your pattern. And then for club members, you'll do the same with your little square so that you can have that as your sample. You'll have a little square like this. Same thing. Alright, now we are going to put the gold stripes on. And to do that, it's got embossing powder all over. Alright, to do that, it's kind of a weird way to do it. I have done the first one that I did You can see how wide these are, and that was just too thick for me. I didn't like that. So we're going to take our tear and tape, and I have my silicone mat, and this hasn't hurt it yet. I'm not saying you can't cut these, but it seemed to work fine. So I'm taking 2 strips, like so, and like so, and I'm using my X-Acto knife, and that comes in a set of 3. It comes with this X-Acto knife blade, what do you call this? Oh, it's got little holes. I can't think of the name right now. It's gone. And then it also comes with a real real skinny, pokey part, and then on the other end it has a little hook on it. So I use this a lot for when I have small pieces. Perforator, that's what it's called, a perforating. Oh boy. Okay, so I'm using the X-Acto knife. My tape is stuck right onto the silicone mat. It comes off easily. And you can use a ruler. I used a clear ruler on some, but I do better without a ruler. So what I'm simply doing, you want to press pretty hard so that you cut through the tape. And I'm just cutting it in half. Try to go as even as you can, or use a ruler, either one. But I'm pretty good at that. See, and it didn't cut through or anything on my silicone mat. Now we will take, well, we'll need this here. We'll take half of a piece, and you want to try to keep the white thing on top of it, because otherwise this tape tends to like roll around. Set it down, take your other one, set it down, and I'm using you can use your paper snips, but I'm using a silicone covered, or not silicone, Teflon covered scissors so that I don't get tape all over everything. And then I'm taking the liners off. Oops, it's flying all over the end of the table. I'm taking the liners off right away, because we have to do the side strips as well. So take this off, and that one sort of had a little crinkle on it, but I was able to flatten it out. All right, now we'll take our other part, and we're putting one, and you have to take that first liner off, otherwise you won't be able to do this. Put one there, and you can tear it. One in between this hole. Yeah, let's see if that's big enough. One in between here. Yeah, not quite. Okay, and then we'll take this piece, one in between, and one in between. So you'll have a total of 6 spots you can put this. Okay, trim those off. And now we'll remove the release liner, or the paper liner, whatever. I don't even know what they're called, but we remove the white tape over the top, or the paper over the top. Okay. Oops. Oh, shoot. So this one, I did move it, so now it's going to be a smaller line, but I'll cover that up with the one part of the piece. So you do have, it's a little fragile, so to speak. Now, another important part, remove your silicone pad from the area, because now we are going to put the gilded leafing on there, and it is very staticky, and big chunks will just like go right to it. So I'm taking just a piece of paper, putting it there, taking a glob of, how do you like my words? A fair amount of gilded leaf, kind of spread it around all over your tape. Try to keep it on your little paper so you can put it back. Some people put these in a container. Some people do it different ways, but I found this really works pretty well. So I'm getting the big bulk of it off of it, and it looks like a mess yet, but that's okay. I'm going to put this away so it doesn't, this stuff sticks to everything. My floor is full of gold. There we go. And now we will take our brush, which is missing an action here. Okay, where'd it go? I'm going to take a blending brush and clean it up a little bit. Okay, so now I have the blending brush. I'm using the small one. It seems to work pretty well. And I'm going in a circular motion, or just up and down, and getting the excess off of the tape. Getting the excess gilding leaf, what do they call these anyway? Gilded leafing. And don't be afraid to press hard on it, because then you'll get the nice thin lines. And some of it got a little thicker than I would prefer, but we're on camera, so everything's going to go wrong. Oops. So here's the one little piece that got twisted. So I'll put something over that. That's where the decoration will go over anyway. But the rest of it, it's not perfect, but that's okay, because you want it to look imperfect because of the design. There we go. And that's it for the gilding part. And it's not that messy really when you look at my area. You get a group of people, it gets real messy. But for when you're doing this by yourself, it's not too bad. So I poured it back into my container, and this stuff does go a long way. Alright, we'll continue on. Now we will decorate the card, and I probably won't do the entire card just because for time. But we will start with a piece of crumb cake, and all the dimensions will be on my website. And we have, this was embossed with that embossing folder of the rings. And we will put that on first. Sometimes when it's real dry, it will pick up the paper, but it doesn't ruin it. It just makes it not so nice. Okay, make sure I'm going the right way. Okay. Then we will take, first of all, you want to put the blue layer on. And because this takes like 24 hours to be permanent set, it really is nice because I messed up and I could take it off right away. It's not that it's not permanent right away, but it's easy to take off. Okay. And then we will add our gilded piece. We will put a lot of glue on there just because it's a little thicker. So this part I'm going to be covering, so I want to make sure that that gets put right over here. Then we will add one of the ringed pieces of wood. That goes on here, it goes flat. See, it covered up my little boo-boo. And then I have the truck. The truck was, I already cut some out. So here's the truck, and I did it in boho blue and black, and that will just get popped up right here. And then we will put our other pieces. This is that stamp from the layering leaves and punched out, and then these are two little pieces from this part of the stamp in Cajun Craze. And then this Just a Note is from Go To Greetings, and it's just a little piece. Popped it up, and you have a really cool card. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, and have a great day.